As the country is debating whether President Joe Biden's age could be a problem in his possible 2024 run for presidency, comedian and political commentator Hasan Minhaj recently asked a group of kids, how old is too old to be president? Let's hear what one of them had to say.
How old is too old to be president?
Too old to be president is an age where you're scared that you might not live to see the next day because a country is depending on you to run them. Also, as long as you don't have any mental health problems, like say you have dementia and you're sort of losing your memory a little bit, and people with dementia, they're perfectly good people, but they're probably not the best kind of person to run a country because they might not remember everything.
Yeah, you're eerily describing what Joseph R. Biden is going through right now.
In response to concerns over his age, President Biden told MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle this May that he tried to ease voters' concerns, claiming his age is a benefit, saying, quote, "Because I have acquired a hell of a lot of wisdom, I know more than the vast majority of people. I'm more experienced than anybody's ever run for the office, and I think I've proven myself to be honorable as well as also effective." Hasan Minhaj really burned in there. Just teed up that little girl to eviscerate our current and sitting president.
I mean, that's what's so powerful about the clip is that the little girl's the sweetest little thing.
He's kind of a liberal person, sort of, I thought. I don't know.
Yeah, what's so powerful about the clip is that the little girl is obviously not trying to eviscerate Joe Biden. She's just saying normal, intuitive things in the sweetest way possible. But the implications of them are obvious, and credit to Hasan Minhaj for being willing to point that out. Now, a recent Washington Post op-ed was making the case that experts aren't that concerned about Joe Biden's age, and here's why. They say Biden has already outlived about 59% of American-born men in his age cohort, while former President Trump has outlived 47% of his cohort. This is according to an analysis from the Social Security Administration data of people born in the 1940s.
Well, if experts say he's not too old, then who am I to dare question them?
They say
that's the stupidest kind of category of expertise I've ever heard. But
they say both Biden and Trump remain physically capable. They've both passed reports from their physicians. They have healthy habits. Neither of them smokes, drinks, or does hazardous labor.
Biden doesn't drink at all?
This is from the Post.
That true?
Why do you doubt that, Robby? Are we trading in certain ethnic stereotypes?
I'm an Italian Catholic. He's a Irish Catholic. So I get to ask that question. I know Trump does not drink at all. George W. Bush didn't drink at all. Religious post-conversion, had a bad time of it as a younger person. Was no more drinking. Trump said he's never even touched the stuff.
And I believe him.
I believe him too. I mean, we would know if he had by now.
I believe him.
Obama wasn't a teetotaler.
I don't think so, but Obama's not born in the 1940s, so that's not the context.
Sure.
This analysis.
Anyway, I'm curious. I don't know. I didn't know if it is the Biden never drinks, or he just doesn't drink a lot or very often.
Sure. So the question is, will they live through? Are they likely to live through a subsequent term? And apparently, according to this article, actuarial tables suggest that they are far more likely than not to live through a second term if elected.
Can I explain to you why that's complete BS?
Please.
We're not just comparing him to any other person of a similar age is stupid because he's the president. And that comes with a unique combinations of stress, some amount of danger. I mean, we've had 45 presidents, and we've had I don't know what percentage of them die in office, 15% or something.
You're the presidential historian of the two of us.
I can go through and name them.
I know you can.
William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor. Some were assassinated, some died in office.
You can't count the assassinations against Biden.
Well, I mean, if the question is only how likely he is to live through if we just say there are 45 presidents, here's how many of them finished out their time in office without dying.
How likely is he to die of age-related causes while in office?
38 of the 45 or something.
Now, this article does go on to point out that only 1 in 3 Americans say Biden is mentally sharp and physically healthy enough to hold office. That's according to an April Washington Post poll, compared to 54%. Many more, who are confident in Trump's mental fitness, and 64% who say that Trump is in good enough physical health to be president. In a different NBC News poll from June, 55% had major concerns about whether Biden had the necessary physical and mental health to be president, while only 44%, still a big number, but less than Biden, had major concerns about Trump.
William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley. Who comes right before Coolidge?
I didn't grow up in this country.
Okay, all right.
Don't ask me civics questions. I went to international
that guy,
school.
and then Kennedy. So I think it's 7. I think it's 7 to die in office.
And they weren't old. I mean, there's this interesting argument about how the longer you live, you know, that the first stat about outliving most of your cohort, the longer you live, the more likely you are to get to a higher age, right? Like if you didn't die from a work-related thing when you were in your work years, your labor years, if you survive childbirth, if you get to a certain age and you're not predisposed toward cancer and other kinds of deaths, then you're more likely to continue the pattern of health for a longer period of time. So it's like the stat is something like your odds of living to 90, if you're already 60, are so much higher than your average 20-year-olds. You know, it's just a statistical numbers game.
Well, it's saying that I think life expectancy is greatly held down, like if you count infant deaths, or it used to be the case, that if you excluded infant deaths, life expectancy was actually much higher
once
than
you make
it seemed.
it to
once you made it past
10,
6 or something,
then you're largely in the clear.
Yeah.
And also, this article points out that socioeconomic status and education are huge predictors of longevity and cognitive function. Having achieved higher education, being millionaires.
But we see how the presidency ages you. I mean, see Obama over the course of 8 years, or George W. Bush over the course of 8 years.
Look at Biden 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, they also point to nutrition, which some people have flagged about Donald Trump having that, 90% McDonald's diet. Is it holding him back?
Trump doesn't look like he's aged a day over the course of his presidency.
My theory is that the McDonald's is actually what's preserving him. Whatever they put in those burgers that you could put it in a closet and it looks the same 20 years from now is also what's preserving him from the inside out. He's hacked the system.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we'll turn to the little girl from that video for more political advice, and we'll have more Rising right after this.